I was wondering what they would do just to make sure they have one because we've not had best of fives the entire time. $2018? What did I say about 2018? Did I say something with 2018 in it? Did I misspeak? What did I say about 2018? Is everyone saying 2018? I can't even remember what I said. Alright. So, we've got our bottom left Blue Zerg best of 5 grand finals of next winter 2020. Next, meaning NetEase Esports X tournament, $7,500 up top for first place. There's dark in the bottom left, and in the top right hand side, our red Protoss players, of course, then Trap. I said, why do we even need to rehearse in 2018? That's amazing, because I 100% in my head said, why do we even need to rehearse in 2020? I said 2018? That's incredible. But why do we need to rehearse in 2018 when it's 2020? Exactly, that's what I mean. It feels like 2018 going back to rehearsals and stuff, when in reality we just ready to go, you know? I don't know. I had Wardy misspeaks already. It's because of the 2018 tree incident? Yeah, obviously I've got the 2018 tree on my mind. Okay, Dark Trap, best of 5 grand finals. Trap looked really good last time I watched him play against Dark. It was a 3-0, I believe, in the WardiTV Invitational 11. That happened in the... it wasn't in the WardiTV one. It was in the Fallen Leaves Invitational round of 8. So that was on the 30th of October, so about a month and a half ago. And Trap also beat Dark in Code S this year, and he did lose to Dark in the Super Tournament Season 1 at the start of the year. And that's the 3 times they've played. So the 4th time they've played this year is one of the bigger ones for sure. As we do have... I mean, I guess the GSL matches are pretty big. Okay, well, we do have a fun series ahead of us then. As Trap... Like I say, his PvZ really, to me, it felt as though it leveled up a lot lately. It felt as though it leveled up a lot lately, but then unfortunately kind of got into a position where yesterday against freaking Ragnarok, he just fell apart, and he should have won some games that he lost, and he loses to a drone drill in the final game as well, and well, that makes me doubt it makes me doubt his PvZ a little bit. Not so much that I actually still think Trap maybe has this one, but it definitely is something to keep in mind. It should be a fun series no matter what, as we do start off with the Stargate opening. No surprises about that here on Jack and Natha, right? It's very much so the kind of map you would imagine. We play a very Stargate-centric style on. It's not a map where you can very easily move into... it's not a map where you can very easily move into, like, Twilight stuff, because it just doesn't work very well, right? That style just does not work very well at all in that kind of... on this map, so... definitely expecting this to continue being something a bit more Stargate focused here every single time we see it, and right now Trap lives up to that expectation. It's going to be an Oracle first. Of course, the Stargates probably have more ways of there's more ways of opening Stargate now than there has been in a long time. Do otherwise see just an Evo Chamber early from Dark, so maybe he goes into like a fast melee upgrade for game number 1. That would be my most expected setup here, perhaps. I think that makes a lot of sense, right? You look at this and you see melee starting. Yeah, it makes sense. Obviously with melee you've got a few different options as well. You can play very Lingbane heavy, you can switch it up a whole bunch. So you really got a couple of options as to what you can do with this, so I like it. I can just be, especially if he goes into something like a heavier Void style, or if he does something weird, maybe the Lynx can do well there. I actually like it quite a lot. I think it's a pretty cool way to get things underway. We do have a couple of Oracles moving forward. Now, Trap has gone Twilight behind the Oracles. I would almost be tempted to say this is probably more so going to be with 2 Oracles being made, more so like something like an Archon drop than anything else. But I say that, and I do feel as though if this was going to be an Archon drop, a Robo would have to be down already. There's a Forge, so it's just going to be +1 and Blink, yes. So I figured it out in the end. We've gotten there eventually, guys. Just took me a few moments to figure out exactly where we were going to take this. It's not even blink. Wow, it's actually charge. Wow, I'm actually very okay. I'm a little confused. I was not expecting the charge so quickly, I suppose. Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, it's not that weird. It's just charge doesn't really give you like much extra map control or anything. It's just gonna move in and just charge a lot of Mortal Archon. It's just you don't see that all that much anymore. You know, very few players go straight to this. Usually there are a lot of other steps that we take instead. So, yeah, switching it up a whole bunch. Things running around to the upper left-hand side. Does grab a probe out the front there as well. So again, a probe kill, and another Ling is going to come around. A second probe going down. This is nice. Just Ling sitting between bases and doing very well. Able to really push in at the front there, though, as we'll see the other Lings going back over to the side. Well, a lot of Ling's going to move across over to the left. So the couple of Oracles going to be coming through there, and well, seeing the Oracles jumping in onto the eggs already. So a bit of damage there. Some damage now onto Queens as well. Lings are going to go diving in. They're going to grab a Zealot already, so Zealot already going down. Now the Lings escape out around the right-hand side. More Lings out down to the south, and just going to be seeing a few of them up to the top. That Zealot needs to stay. Oh my goodness, this Zealot has a lot of problems with staying in the wall. He has one job, and he, at the moment, seems to be refusing to do it. And this Trap is going to set up out the front. Ooh, loses 7 pros before he moves in. So Trap is going to go. There's the 7 workers he's going to commit in. The 4th base likely to just die here. I mean, Dark has roaches on the way now. He's going to ignore the 4th base, and Trap feels like he can get more done. So he's going to commit through. Archon's going to get into that Guardian shield, and here come the Lings from the other side. Trap needs these Archons to really work against the Lings. I just don't think he's got enough to really make this work, right? Prism is here, but now that the Zealots go down, everything else will start to drop very quickly. And Trap is taking some mega damage. Oracles are out of energy already. They've been defending elsewhere. And as the Prism backs away, everything else goes down. And this attack from Trap did not work. Maybe would have been better off just getting the 4th and backing away. Don't know if he necessarily had time to get the 4th base and back away, though. That's obviously part of the problem with the decision he just has to make right there. It's not necessarily an easy decision just to kind of come out with, so as an observer provides some detection, we'll get rid of a couple of creep tumors, and these roaches will move forward a little bit. Gonna clean out a Zealot. Just gonna be seeing more roaches out at the front as well. Hydraless Dan is about to finish up. +2 melee, +2 missiles coming through. An Overlord on that bottom side gets cleaned out also. So at least putting some work in with these Archons, and actually Trap bounces back to a supply lead. Wow, that's quite the bounce back, as Dark is investing into a lot of stuff at the moment, right? Lurkaden's on the way, Hydra's rebuilding, +2 melee and missiles, Hydra upgrades, Baneling speed, all of these things which obviously don't affect his supply at all, so yeah, okay, so, and the Hive as well for the look. Like, yeah, he really does just go into a bit of everything right now, Doc. So, yes, supplies maybe not looking great, but he's obviously really looking toward the future here as Trap. His Oracle does not do too well. His Oracle doesn't do anything at all, really. And 2 shield batteries up on that 4th base. Stack defense will be very important to stop run-bys from being too successful. Just to stop Dark from just denying that base way too easily. As Trap's going to start moving out, I think Trap's got something of a timing here, maybe before all of everything finishes up from Dark. And if he can maybe find that timing, maybe that's his best opportunity right now, because Dark, again, he has just invested so much into things which will help him massively. 2 minutes from now will not really do anything for him in the next few seconds. I mean, maybe Baneling speed is done, and obviously the Hydra upgrade is there, but stuff like the upgrades, the 2-2s, they're not ready yet. The hive, that's not being brought into play just yet. Let's see. Equal army supplies going into this fight. It's Hydras and not Lurkers as well. First force fields going down on mass, and no Ravager's here to break those force fields down, as now the Banes start moving forward and he's out of force fields. So he needs one force field, one Baneling already. A sentry going down. Now he's trying to save what he can with the Warp Prism as well. And Trap will once again find himself back in the way. Minimal damage done, really. Now this Trap falls back to the upper right-hand side. Everything getting cleaned up there. And 10 more Lurkers on the way out. 11 more Lurkers on the way out from Dark, sorry. So again, those 11 Lurkers on the way through too. So moving into all of that. There's a couple Disruptors on the way in. Blinking +1 armor on the way up. Got a couple of Queens here to push the Oracle back up to the top side as well. So pushing that around. Zealots are going to move around that bottom corner, and Lings are going to run in to catch those pretty quickly. So no harassment potential from Trap either. And now Dark is maxed out. He actually went, I believe that's Adaptive Talons before he goes for the Seismic Spine. So he's actually looking to get the Lurkers up and able to reposition and move aggressively before he actually gets the range on them. If I'm not mistaken. I don't feel like he's had time to get Seismic Spines already, but maybe call me crazy again. No, no easy way to check right now, as you just see that Disruptor Shot was disgusting. 3-4 Lurkers just got blown up by the double Disruptor Shot. Okay, I mean, that's fine. Archons from Trap moving through here again. I mean, this army is still a little scary. It is just going to be, once he gets to the Lurkers, though, that's why he's going to hit a point where surely he can't bust through at the moment. It's going to be seeing the Lurkers unburrow and reburrow, and Disruptor Shot does land, and a few transfusions are going to keep the Lurkers healthy. 19 probes going down, a huge Bane run by hitting the third base. So Trap loses a lot of economy back at home, and he's got to deal with these roaches as well, which with the Lings are starting to get rid of cannons. He just stood in a stasis ward, mind you. Now Trap takes the chance to get forward. He's going to get rid of a bunch of Lurkers. And can Trap keep pushing through this? For the moment, it seems like he might be able to. New Lurkers coming in, and you can see that fourth base still under attack. The Oracle trying to defend it. A Disruptor is there as well. Trap paying full attention to the front right now, though, where he is winning a fight. Dark's losing a lot of drones, but Trap is losing probes. Disruptor Shot fires in the picture, and picture doesn't do much. The main army still pushing forward, and Trap coming through to the natural expansion. Hatchery in some trouble, and I do think Trap has got this one in the bag. What a game from Trap. Attack after attack that did not work, and we get Trap in the end able to close it out to pick up game number 1. Here is getting ready to begin. Trap leads 1-0 in this best of 5 grand finals. And the top right will be Dark, and the bottom left will be Trap. Teamless Trap looking to pick up a victory for the Protoss race. And a pretty serious, I mean, this is a $15,000 event, guys. This is a big tournament. If Protoss win this, do we finally say that Protoss can have won something? Do we finally celebrate? Do we finally do that, or are we not allowed to do that? We've got to pretend they keep on losing. Well, not pretend they keep on losing, but do we keep it quiet? Do we need more Protoss wins before we accept they can win things? Probably. Alright, so we get into game number 2. I really felt like everything went wrong for Trap in that game. You know, first attack, you know, especially that attack down the bottom side, just felt like you got cleaned up, didn't do much. But I guess when you kill 4 Lurkers with the 2 Disruptors, that does kickstart things a little bit as well, for sure. No worries, Dark will win. We don't have to worry about Trap winning. Okay, okay, I see how you guys are thinking. You guys think Dark still got this? Let's do a quick vote in the chat. 1 if you think Dark's gonna win still, and 2 if you think Trap's gonna win it. 3 if you just don't care because you're a Terran player and you're just here because you've got nothing else to watch right now. Intensely types 3 into the chat. 2, 1, 1, 2. 2's Trap, right? I forgot what I said. Oh, it's pretty even. There's a lot of 3s. Hey, it's actually pretty even. It's very split between 3s, 2s, and 1s. Yeah. Amazing. What a meme. Yeah. Alright. Well, there will be a Stargate opening again. Here on Oxide, I'd be surprised to see something. It could be like a Void Ray Oracle, but I'd be kind of surprised to see like 2 or 3 Stargate Void Rays. I feel like this one is a good one just to go kind of maybe it's like a Void Ray into Glaives could be an opening. I wouldn't mind a Void Ray. Do you think that helps against some of the aggression on this map, perhaps? Just going to be having our Adept about halfway done from Trap at the moment on the front of that gateway, so just bringing this up and running. So it was interesting what Ragnarok said yesterday in the interview in TSL, where he said, you know, Trap has this tendency where if he wins if he goes for an Adept second, he pretty much always Stargates. If he goes Stalker second, he pretty much always Twilights. And that's pretty much like he doesn't mix it up enough to kind of like, you know, it makes it very readable or so, which is, I think that's a very typical read anyway, but Trap doesn't mix it up all that much, so it's kind of like almost like a guarantee that he's doing it. He will do. We will be seeing a gateway going down as part of the wall off here. Again, a couple of queens on the way out. They're going to be popping soon. I'm just going to be seeing the extra spores into mineral lines. All of that continuing to set up for now as well. So a lot of building up, a lot of setting up. Oracle going to chrono boost out of the Stargate number 2. And we're just going to be having our first Oracle arriving. And, well, if he'd activate his Pulsar Beam right away, that could have been 2 or 3 kills. But he just ran in to take damage. Okay, I mean, this is kind of bad. Because now you have a very hurt Oracle that should have never been this hurt. Oh, no, it's going to go down while Adept shade in. So while Trap will lose the Oracle, he will show up and get 4 kills at least. And Adept's... okay, the one in the front is the one with low HP, so it's going to go down, and that means the shade into the main base will be limited in effect. 5 drones is not bad, but again, you've lost an Oracle already for it. Okay, now you're going to find the third base without 2 queens, so that will be more damage. Okay, I can get behind this. 10 workers killed, and I think losing an Oracle and 2 Adepts is probably alright. That's a huge amount of worker damage. Only 27 drones to 43 for a few moments there on the map. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Alright, well, Rotron's about halfway done, and we do just see the Overlord building up. A couple queens on the way in as well. As we get this up and ready to go. All those queens coming through right now as Tap has an Oracle out in the center. That's going to be seeing the Twilight finishing up soon. The extra gates all on the way. Queens will continue out down to the bottom side, so it's just going to be a bit of a queen walk to try and wrap this one up for Dark. He's on 38 workers, and he's got... Okay, these Adepts coming in and do more damage. The only thing that's a problem here for Trap is if he doesn't realize what's going on, because the drone count maybe doesn't tell him. Simply for the fact that, okay, he canceled the third Nexus. He knows. He knows. He's building batteries too. Okay, he absolutely knows. I was going to say maybe. He doesn't know because it's like he doesn't realize off the drone count. He's like, well, yeah, I killed a lot of drones already. But yeah, he knows what's up, and third base isn't there. Well, he just queen walked into no third base, so that's kind of a problem. You're not just going to push up the ramp, surely. I mean, I say that with confidence that Dark won't do it, but maybe he's just desperate enough that he just commits to that anyway. That might not be a bad thing, right? Just if you feel like you're just in a bit of a bad spot right now, you just go for it. And yeah, it seems crazy, but what are you meant to do? I mean, the follow-up from this is obviously not really great for you right now. Lane's Roach Ravager going to turn back around up to the top side. Dark Shrine is going to be finishing soon, and yeah, I mean, Dark Shrine against... I guess the Lair's going to be done before DTs are really in place. I guess that's not a huge deal. Queen pulling back to the top side of that as well. Okay, I mean, Trap's just still in something of the driver's seat. Well, I mean, hasn't got a third base still, so now you've been held to 2 bases for quite a long time, and Jog is droning up, so maybe has Dark potentially done enough here as the way he starts to get back into this a little bit more? Yeah, perhaps. I think that's a super crazy thing to be thinking about here. Trap, we'll see him with the third base coming through. Obviously, the one thing the Dog doesn't have is a lot of tech. He's only just now going to be starting roach speed and +1 missiles, so while his drone count will be good, There's a lot of things that are still going to be missing here overall for sure. So yeah, it's looking better for him, but it's definitely not. It's definitely not perfect for sure. Bit more of this army moving forward here from Trap, coming up through to the center of the map as well, and it's actually looking to get aggressive. Zealots and Archons morphing in, so can he do something with this? Stalkers will kill an Overlord. Dark gets supply blocked. So see the Zealots going to charge straight through. Hatchery goes down. A little bit of creep going to be denied here as well. So Dark getting rid of a lot of those creep tumors. A little bit more of this still being cleaned out, and Dark is, well, he's not in trouble, right? But I like the fact that we've got an Archon drop into the main base. These Lings won't do well. And yeah, the Archon drop can do well. Gets an Overlord, right? And it's just some bonus damage, really, for Trap, who has a third base now comfortably up and on his way to +2 attack. Immortal and Stalkers. And what are we doing as Dark? You know, you're still building masses of Roaches and really nothing else. We're not on the way toward Banelings. We're not on the way toward anything that's really going to help here. In like a longer game. You don't have anything that's really going to work out well in a longer game. It's a little rough, honestly. So let's swiping away at the hat, because we do see a few Lings going to nab us around, so it will fall. So that's obviously one of the issues, the fact that Dark is only just now taking a 4th base. It's extremely late to where he would usually like to take it. So everything just heavily delayed. I mean, now we've got Roach Ravager pushing forwards. Corrosive Vials get dodged away from last second. Force Fields take a little while to chew through, and well, there's a few Ravagers on the left side aren't exactly having a great time. He morphs High Templar, morphs Archons right in the center of the Roach Ravager. They kind of just go down. Feels like that was a fight Trap didn't need to take so far forward, as he's just now finished +2. That's an advantage he would have had. Obviously fighting over here, he's got batteries to help, and again, I don't know why you morphed in the Archons right there. It's obviously, again, just DT's gone wrong, almost. He's got a Stasis Ward to try and help out here as well. Ooh, beautiful Force Fields will catch a lot of the Roach Ravager. Remember that Roach Ravager supply is always heavily inflated, especially if it's very Roach heavy, which this is. And you're also up against a very kind of tech-heavy Protoss army already, so the Immortal Archon Force looking good. He's going to lose the battery right away, though, so now Trap is going to have trouble defending this third base, I think. No battery to help out, New Immortal's already being cut off a little bit. And yeah, he's just not in a position to really fight. He's been pushed so far back. Well, a few Zealots coming in from the other side, and they're starting to do pretty well, and they're going to stop the Ravagers from backing away as easily. Now these Immortals will finally get a chance to properly fight these Roaches. The Reinforced Immortal makes its way back in. There's units from Dark that just aren't joining this fight. But Trap has lost 20 probes in this process, and so his work account is gone. If he can survive, then maybe he can build back up here. He is still working on a high-tech army versus low-tech reinforcements. Still only +1 missiles from Dark as well, who will look to go again. But of course, a Trap on 44 probes is not going to be able to build that much. He has to really look to hope that what he already has is going to be a strong base to defend this with. 57 versus 102 army supplies. About to clash yet again. Let's back away, and we do see a few Corrosive Vials up. Zoning nicely, and this third base is still difficult to hold on to. Nice Force Fields yet again, keeping these Roaches from backing away. Really picks up a lot of kills very quickly, and again, the army supplies are getting closer together. You're going to lose the third base. Drones are going down. DTs across the map, I believe, are doing a fantastic job. Sorry, it's 2 Immortals across the map are going to kill a hatch. Yeah, but then you don't have anything over here anymore. Now these Immortals kind of in the front on their own. I mean, killing a hatch is great, but you're losing your own hatchery as well. He's trying to dodge out the way of those Vials. Don't even know where the next ones are. And now a lot of stuff's starting to go down. Well, Ravager's going down as well. These Archons are putting in work. Super Battery helping out, but I think Dark is finally winning this out over here. I mean, the biggest part of this is just that Trap is on 2 bases again, and this is interesting. This was a very fun... This is a very fun series so far, because I definitely feel Game 1, Dark was maybe in a bit of a better spot. Game 2, I kind of liked where Trap was, but he was not able to defend it. And here we are now with what seems to be maybe a tied-up series, and some more games to come still. It's really difficult when you've only got the 2 bases, and maybe if he'd held the 3rd base, he would have been able to somewhat turn this around. The Immortal drop's actually done a lot of damage, but I almost wonder if it would have still just been better to keep the Immortals with the army and just look to completely overwhelm, because if you overwhelm the army and you counterattack, that can do a lot to just obviously clean things up. I feel like that may have been the better bet overall. Ravager down the left, and is just going to be seeing a few probes long distance, and obviously going to get caught, and Trap just does not even have close to an army that should be able to deal with this. Now there's just so many Ravagers, and these force fields are no longer catching a bunch of units. They're just trying to buy more time where he can survive. Overseer's still alive as well, so the DT is not going to be a problem. If he moves back into Overseer range, he's actually stood away from the Overseer a little bit there, but it's going to be okay now. And you go up the ramp, the Archon goes down, everything but the 2 Immortals will likely die, as the Immortals can obviously dance in the Prism. So this does indeed look to be tied up 1-1 and going to a game 3. Another Immortal goes down, now another one. Trap GG's as he finishes dancing with the units, and Dark ties us up 1-1 in the best of. Submarine will be map number 3 of this series. In the bottom right hand side, the blue Zerg player is Dark. In the top left-hand side, the red Protoss player is Trap. Dark representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Trap still teamless after the generic Green Wings disband the other day. Dark does have TSL 6 to play later today, his match against Uthermal. One of the later matches as well. Wonder if he'll take a nap, get some sleep before then, or if he'll just power through. Of course, Trap eliminated from TSL 6. A bit of a... really will stand by that just being a shocker. Definitely not what I was expecting. And TSL 6, if you're wondering, starting in about 3 hours and 20 minutes for you all. So make sure you tune into that. Should be a lot of fun. I think we've got some really good games today. I was looking through them, and I think it's a lot of really good games. Looking forward to casting those. Me and Zombie Grub going to be bringing you the action of that one on twitch.tv/Team Liquid. Make sure you tune in. We have a probe of Trap moving down to the bottom right hand side. And she's continuing in. Link speed on the way up and that Queen coming through. We do have the Twilight Council on the way from Trap now, so he has time to switch this up. I mean, Submarine definitely a shorter map. The one we see the Resonating Glaive Adepts be used on fairly frequently when we do get PvC on this map. So I'm expecting the Glaive Adepts here. He's got a good access point. You can get in between bases. You can shade between bases very easily on this map. You've got options when it comes to those bases as well, so that's definitely... you know, those are all things to kind of watch out for in this. And hey, thank you so much. First of all, ZvP for the 2-month resub. Welcome back. And also Menderbones for the 1,000 bits. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the stream today. As we've been... well, actually, almost 7 hours into this stream. I didn't realize. We actually had some really good games today. Some fantastic matches. If you've missed out on any of them, I can only recommend that you go back and catch up on... Dream Dark was really good. Innovation Dark was really good. Times matches in the quarters and semis were really good. And the PvP, Trap and Stats, was really good. Basically, the only match that wasn't good today was Beyond versus Innovation. That one, you can just skip that one, guys. You don't need to watch that one, trust me. Yeah, you really don't need to watch that one. But everything else, you should go back and watch if you missed it. It's been a good day of StarCraft too. Resonating Glaive's going to be finishing up soon, as the defense from Dark will be very early Roach Roaring. We'll see what defense he would like to adopt here against these Glaved Adepts. There's two main ones, Ravager Ling and then just Roachling. They will both work a bit differently, but they really end up in fairly similar positions overall, so it kind of depends how it goes. The extra Adept's just going to warp and just going to be getting ready to push forward then. So going to come through. Comes in with all of them right away. He is going to shade forward. There are the Ravagers. That's the initial defense here from Dark. His Adept's going to go into the main base. This is something that Trap was reluctant to do yesterday against Ragnarok. But he'll do it here against Dark. And honestly, he runs into just what is a ton of Lings. I mean, as he shade out, he'll get a couple drones. Now he'll shade and he will go to the third where, well, Transfusion actually saves a drone there. Stalker pushing this Overlord away down the left-hand side. The couple of Adepts coming through and will go after those workers as well. And the counter-attack these Sling's going to get to you now. And again, you lose a lot of Adepts, and I'm not sure how much Trap really gained. Dark did lose a few drones. He is on a lower drone count in general. So you can see our Adept shading forward, looking for a couple drones. I've just morphing in from Dark, but only after he's added a whole bunch of extra drones as well. So really building up on that worker count. And I think Trap's okay and stuff like this, right? Extra Adepts just arriving, getting a couple extra kills here and there. That really does add up as well. And all of this lost mine time now is starting to, all of this lost mine time really starting to add up as well. Kill the Lings and Ravagers moving up to the top side. Ooh, have to use the force field early to block those Lings, but a few of them get in, and a few is already problematic. Because a few of them getting in there is absolutely going to be kind of scary, and there's no Prism here, so these Immortals are maybe in some trouble. With the Ravagers starting to get onto them, there's the Prism now coming back, so the Immortals can start a micro. Lings getting here too. The Adepts from the left-hand side are going to show up, and with the Prism micro, this is going to be a good hold from Trap. He doesn't lose all that much while defending. And obviously keeping the third base up and running important as well. He's going to jump for these Ravagers. Obviously, if you slow these Ravagers down, they're not going to get home. And that's really nice. Picking off multiple Ravagers right now. And Dark, I think, realizing, wow, that was a mistake. Was not meant to lose that much. As now Trap warps in a little extra and maybe feels like you could keep on pushing. But there's more Roaches on the way. I think he's good just to build up probes and just to set up into the next stage of his tech here. And he's going to go, though. I mean, he has got triple Immortals. That's a very powerful push that he's set up for. I mean, like I say, he's building probes behind it. He can have the option to just transition from this point on. There's a couple of extra sentries warping into, and here we go, pushing down. Clearing out some extra creep tumors already, and, well, here we go. Roaches from the right side, Lings out from the bottom. The Immortals have a huge job to do as we see the Ravager already going down. I actually think that Dark is in a bit of trouble here. There's nothing to put damage onto these Immortals. And Trap is just going to sit here and kill the third base, if nothing else. Yeah, now you obviously can't lose the third base. You pull drones, but then it's already too late. The base is gone, so now Dark backs away. And he's just going to get chased because these Adepts are going to shade in on top and stop anything. Well, very irresponsible from Trap. He's just going to keep the Adepts as the front line, which is the right way to do it. He's going to target down the Spore Crawler, which is actually not a bad call also because the Spore then now can't stop the Prism from moving forward for Immortal Micro. And Trap just has too much as Dark will not find a way to defend this here. And these Roaches trying to come in around the top side. Slash GG. And it's going to be Trap to take game number 3. And Trap to retake the lead of this best of 5 grand final. Game number 4. We have got ourselves Death Aura. Top left will be Trap, bottom right will be Dark. Trap is on tournament point right now. Doc not really finding a way to get set up into any of the later stages too comfortably just yet. I mean, let's see what happens here. That's a nice 16 hatch. This will not be a block from Trap. So Trap will be too late to block the natural, and that's a big deal. Obviously, not having to go over to the third base or so is really nice. Okay, we'll finish from Trap, and we'll see the Nexus down into the natural as well, so getting that ready to go. Just going to be seeing a few of these drones getting in toward this mining on the main base. A couple of workers jumping onto the extractors, and hatch gas and pool setup begins. What will Trap go for on Death Or? This might be a triple Stargate or a double Stargate Void Ray kind of map. This is absolutely a matchup which is being dictated by that meta lately. And Trap, he will go for it when the map is right and when the time is right, and this may very well be that time. What I think is scary is that Doc absolutely has zero chill when it comes down to dealing with those sort of builds, because he will not blink twice at the idea of just Nidus all in you. So you have to absolutely go for like something that's going to be pretty good defensively here, I believe. Gonna be a Stargate to start then, so we'll see what the next step of this is gonna be. Ain't gonna be done. The main probe just gets pushed back. Adept continuing down the bottom right side as well. Adept just shading in, but doesn't quite commit just yet, as we do have our Stargate now about to complete. So we'll see what Trap goes for. It will be an Oracle first, so no Void Ray just yet. I mean, to be fair, I feel like the Oracle openings have been putting him into very good positions from earlier in this series as well. Two Adepts around the bottom side. Just going to be seeing a couple of Lings getting chased away also. So let's get chased back, and the Queen's here. Going to drop an inject on the third base. The Adepts do shade, and they're going to get a couple of drones right off the start. One of the Adepts goes down. The other Adept is going to go down, but actually 3 drones and a drone pull. That's okay. So that's good damage done by Trap. The first 2 Adepts go well for him. And after the Oracle goes Void Ray. I quite like that he goes Oracle into Void Ray, because maybe Doc doesn't think about the Void Ray right away. I think that's fairly believable based on the kind of games we've been having so far. Of course, this Overlord will get shot down by the Void Ray, so this won't be, you know, hidden forever. So now you know that there's going to be a Void Ray on the map, and Doc will have to perhaps deal with this. This Overlord will just go down. And what's it going to be? Trap, what follows this Void Ray? Do we see a Twilight Enclaves? Do we see an extra Stargate? More Void Ray? As a single Oracle is finding damage, it will go down. You can see Trap's a little bit upset to let it die, because now he misses out on Revelations. And now he misses out on a little bit of extra info. He drops the Stargate and Void Ray 2 back at home. Obviously a little bit late on starting up one of those as he was microing that Oracle. He did find extra drones for it all, but yeah, now we have double Stargate. So this is what he did yesterday. He went double Stargate. Now the one thing I think about double Stargate is I do feel like it's potentially weaker against some of the earlier all-ins you can go up against, because you only have 2 Void Rays you can build at once to help get up to that higher Void Ray count. While if you have triple Stargate, you can build 3 Voids at once. And it just comes at a time where a lot of these all-ins come at a time where you just don't really have much else. Even if you go double Stargate, yes, the setup and everything else will be more quick or faster. It will be faster, but yes, then you don't necessarily still have stuff up in time to help with those defenses. So that's when maybe the Void Rays are, you know, after 3 Stargates, a little bit safer in a way. That's my theory. I've not really seen this come into play too much yet, because you don't see a lot of double Stargates only just now becoming much more popular, you know. You have the Spire on the way down, so we'll be seeing a Spire defense from Dog. I actually find that interesting, because obviously I really feel everything off the Spire is just so bad against what Trap is doing. Corruptors aren't exactly great, the mutas are less than ideal. We have a few of these lings up the top side looking around. And +1 missiles, our road speed continuing through, so continuing to set up with that. Double Void gonna look for a cancel on the 4th base. There's not a queen in sight, by the way. No queen close. He's probably got it, because you obviously can't transfuse the base while it's still building. There's the cancel, there's the rebuild. Does he lose a Void Ray for it? Nope, just some damage. It's a great cancel for Trap. Slows Dark down a lot. Dark, who's got a lot of money in the bank and will now build 10 Corruptors. Man, 10 Corruptors, like, I just don't feel like the Spire is the way to fight this. You know, we honestly see, you know, Hydras from a lot of players, and I think Hydras are the way to go. But Dark really seems like he wants to build the Corruptors against it, so, yeah. We'll get going. Corruptors in that bottom right side, just going to be seeing Charge Storm +1. All these upgrades finishing from Trap. I mean, yeah, this is the thing. You get those upgrades very quickly. You get all the transition very quickly because it's only 2 Stargates of Void Rays. I honestly just don't know. Like, you just build so many Corruptors, you overwhelm the Voids. The problem is if you overwhelm the Voids with Corruptors, so what? Actually, you know what? So what? What are they going to do? You start caustic spraying down bases? Put a couple cannons on each base, they can't stick around. Corruptors coming across the map. I mean, obviously the storms are here. Cluster attack is already on the way through. As we do have the Corruptors in the main. Cannon, couple of Stalkers. Nothing to really protect this main base, but obviously Trap is off across the map. He's actually okay. He's got the Voids here. But if the Corruptors stay targeted in the main, then he actually take a bit more damage. He loses a few of the Corruptors. The main Nexus does go down. These Zealots won't do much. And that's not an army from Trap that's really meant to fight that out over on that right-hand side. So right now, the Corruptors actually look kind of okay. As they come in and they snipe down a base. So that's definitely the right start. That's the thing, though, right? It's just so many Corruptors against what was kind of, yeah, okay, a good amount of Voids, but not even a crazy amount of Voids. Other thing with double Stargate Voids is you can cut Voids a little bit sooner if you feel like you don't need extra ones, so it's kind of happened here as well. Sip a battery onto the Nexus. Corruptor's now going to run out to the right-hand side. A lot of probes going down here, but the fight's pretty good for Trap, honestly. He will lose the 3rd base. I'm honestly kind of surprised he didn't... He's kind of getting the cannons and the batteries up now, but I'm kind of surprised he didn't have a lot more of these a lot sooner. There's some really good storms on that ramp. The Roach Ravager taking a beating from it. Main Nexus is just about to come back online as the 3rd base gets built back up. There's the transition from Dark Hydrogen. Infestation Pit. He likes... Rogue likes to play kind of like Hydras into Lurkers. We'll see if that's the plan from Dark as well as the next steps of this. Now the Roach Ravager shows up on the right side and gets rid of the cannons and the battery, which means that there's now no stack defense here to help against the Corruptors next time around. I'm not sure what's going up the ramp on the left-hand side. That's just some more Roach Ravager. That won't do much. The Corruptors come in from the left. Dogs are really moving the Corruptors around well. I'm not going to lie. I was 100% doubtful about the idea of going into the... 100% doubtful about building so many Corruptors. They've found value. Like, they've killed, what, like 3 bases now? And that's a base over there as well. It suddenly Trap's on 2 bases of mining. And don't get me wrong, Trap is trading amazingly. Well, it's actually not even that crazy. 6.5 to 6k. It feels like Trap's trading amazingly, but actually not so much. His army supply is not really dropping down, though. These Voids now do chase the Corruptors off. I mean, this is scary because now maybe you need a better answer to Voids, and I guess the Hydras are on the way to do that. That does help. Archon's finishing up. Prism underneath the Roach Ravager Hydra already continuing to move around a little bit as we do see the Observer is about to finish up. I really do believe. I mean, I still like what Trap has. I think Trap's army is still amazing. He's actually going to start fighting now. Oh my god! Oh, Corrosive Bowels did pretty good, huh? All the Void Rays just melted. He needs to get these High Templars and Storms into play. Man, Trap is just... he won't stop. I mean, to be fair, he's actually slaying everything he's coming up against so far. What's really nice is that he actually still has Storms available for the reinforcements. Dropping some feedbacks now as well. He needs to keep some of these High Templar alive. A few more Corrosive Bowels as he keeps Dark pushed back, killing a lot of drones. Well, it's time for Dark to lose a hatchery here. I mean, this was always going to be something of the problem that, like I say, Trap's army was never really dying. It was only ever getting better. He ate so many biles here. Main base Nexus is gone again, by the way. The few Corruptors that remained finished it off. So, main base gone again. Storm to slow the Hydra production, or the Hydra movement down. Hydra's coming in from all sorts of angles. One more Storm bottom side. Do we have any more left? I don't think so. And I think this is where Dark will just overwhelm this army. Trap had a good push, and if he'd maybe preserved his units a little bit better, it might have been okay. But the reality is, just running headfirst through Corrosive Biles does not get the job done. It's as simple as that, quite frankly. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Well, as the army of Dark comes to the upper left-hand side, Trap really doesn't have anything left over. I'm a bit shocked by the Corruptors. I think Dark played them really well. I feel like Trap had the right idea against the Corruptors, just a little bit too late. You know, if he'd had the static defense on that right side base a little bit sooner, they probably wouldn't have got that kill. And then obviously the game snowballs way less. GG's, and we go to a game 5. Honestly, finals like this I feel like deserves a game 5, and it's been a good finals so far. Zon, and also Port on the 43-month resub on the Prime. Thank you guys. We will get you on the tree after this. Final game. Trap and Dark going the distance. Game number 5. Yeah, it's been a very fun series. Trap did switch it up into that Void Ray style. We get Lightshade for the 5th map here. This is a big map. This is a big tournament. This is a $7,500 first place prize pool. $3,000 for seconds. This is like a $4,600 difference between first and second here, guys. That's a pretty sizable difference. A pretty sizable chunk of money that would differ here. Catcher on the right side from Dark right now. Next is down on the natural. Obviously did get the hatch block off initially, forced that hatchery up toward the 3rd base to begin with. Poll in the chat. It's 50-50 almost between Dark and Trap on who you guys think will win at the moment. As it comes down to this final map. You guys, been a pleasure to cast this tournament. I want to say one more shout out to the Netties guys who got us involved and set us up to be able to provide an English stream. They're literally pushing the clean feed so we can provide English commentary for you guys. So shout out to the Netties guys for setting this up and helping us have English coverage of what has been an awesome event, because there have been these events that have gone by without any English coverage, so it's been difficult to watch them. So hell yeah for being able to bring you guys some of the action here today. Bro, patrolling out on the right side, a couple drones are off mining. We do just have the Twilight Council building in the main base of Trap, so it is going to be back to a Twilight opener. A shorter map, definitely a one. Another one where you can kind of get between the bases, make your choices on where you shade. Shade one way, walk the other. That against the creep tumor, that's actually really nice. So what this does is now you slow down the creep between the third base and the natural expansion. And that obviously means the queens and, well, anything, but especially queens and so on, will be much slower at rotating between bases. And that means if those are much slower, then of course you can really defend much more, or you can really get aggressive much more easily. Defending is much more difficult. So that's absolutely a problem, as Resonating Glaives is on the way on the Twilight Council. Robo is about to finish up here from Trap. Some extra gates coming down, obviously going up to 4 gates in total. Everything as we expect this to be for the moment. Dark, no Roach Roaring yet. He's starting Spore Crawls. Hey, Dark seems to think that this is a, Dark seems to think that this is like a Stargate opener right now. So those spores are timed out for, right? Interesting. There's the Roach Roaring. Maybe just safety in case of... I guess he just doesn't really know yet. It could be either or. There's an extra gate, by the way, from Traps. This is going to be more than just 4 gates. It's going to be 6 gateways. This is going to be a lot of Adepts, so more than usual. The Overlord sees the first 2 moving out. First 4 moving out. Of course, hard for Dogman. The Roach Run really is just feeling late right now. You know, as we see the first few extra Adepts coming in, there's going to be so more to come up on the follow-up. Depth shitting through. We do see the Queen taking a few shots already. Here's the Queens from the top side. Remember, they are going to be slow to move because they're off creep. And there's no roaches yet. Now 5, 6 roaches on the way. Problem is, if these roaches are spawning in different places and there are so many Adepts, that's going to be really difficult to handle. These Adepts, if they start to shade right now and start to get cut off on some of these roaches from joining up together, this is going to be huge. The Adepts obviously now can fight the Queens because the Lings have to chase the shades. Queens will try and transfuse each other up. The Adepts will just sit here and fight the Queens, and Queens are dropping. Trap gets a good start to this, and now he's going to be able to shade elsewhere as the Lings start to show up. Like, there's a couple of Adepts targeting some drones. All the Lings go down. That's just the Adept counter right there, as Trap is able to keep the pressure up. He's now shading more Adepts through toward the main base. He's shading more down to the bottom side. There's just Adepts everywhere at the moment. A lot of roaches chase into the main base. The other Adepts out on the low ground still. Trap's going to micro some of these back. He's going to warp in more to try and outnumber it, and it actually might just work. There's barely any roaches here behind those Zerglings. On the natural expansion, Lings are running into Adepts as well. And now we're going to shade fully into the main base, so it's a full commitment in the main. And we are going to have pretty much just roaches dying against them. Now, the drone count hasn't really taken big hits yet, but that obviously is still to come, perhaps. He needs to start target firing, though. These drones could have already been going down. He could have had more damage on roaches. He was hitting a spawning pool. He was hitting an extractor. He's on the natural expansion now. Drones pull away almost immediately. He needs to get some up to the third base. I feel like he should shade some Adepts towards the third right now, because his Prism is in the main base warping in. So if you're warping into the main base, yeah, this is where you can keep everything together, but the damage can really be done on the third, because that's where the units of the Zerg are less likely to be. He is going to join everything up together again, and some of these roaches are low, so he's going to get forward and kill a whole bunch of these, and that's obviously really nice damage. He gets a ton of roaches. He sticks around to keep fighting. He's going to maybe find another Queen as well. New Queen out on the main base is going to get an inject off, which is important. You can see now Dark is collapsing a little bit. Adepts are going to stick around in the main once again, and I think Trap might have just done this. He is going to do it. He's going to win this out. Trap is your NetEase Esports X Tournament champion. Next 2020 Winter SC2 Masters, apparently what they want to call it. GG's. Trap 3-2 over Dark to take it down. We've got a Protoss champion, everybody.